Wow. Wow. I can't believe it. It is a Christmas miracle. It's a Christmas miracle. The show is officially back. Coffee Nick's Movie Picks is officially back. Wow. It's been quite a while. It has been quite a while. If you're new here, or you completely had a memory wipe and forgot what this show was, this is a podcast called Coffee Nick's Movie Picks, where we talk about movies over some coffee. And my name is Nick, as the title suggests. And if you are new here, you are tuning in directly after a 4-month-long hiatus. Over the summer, I had a little bit of a mentee bee, and I was like, I need a break. I need a break. And a break I did have. I was busy pouring into my class, playing all sorts of video games, maybe reading a book or two, going to the movies, of course, going to coffee shops, just living my life, being a little Coffee Nick, doing what I do best. So why now? Why now? What is happening that is so important that I brought the show back, that I felt so compelled to bring the show back? Well, mainly, the number one reason is I wanted to. Yeah, that's right. That's right. I wanted to bring the show back. But the second reason, and this is kind of like a sub-reason to number one, like a 1A sort of situation, it's Christmas. It is Christmas, the holiday season. Season's greetings. It is Christmas, the reason for the season, and I felt so inspired to bring back Uncommon Christmas. Looking at the entire lifespan of my show thus far, Uncommon Christmas was my favorite part. I had such a great time doing that, and I want to do it again. Not in the same capacity as last time, but just kind of bring it back and see how I feel, kind of feel it out. Let's do it, Again, if you're new here, which are you new here? I'm curious if anyone is new here. But if you are new here, I did Uncommon Christmas. I started that last year, and that is a seasonal series. And as the name suggests, I review not your average Christmas movies over some somewhat seasonal coffee. The origins of Uncommon Christmas, I'm very passionate about this series, I think. I feel very strongly that we can do more than when Christmas comes around, when the holiday season starts. We can do more than put Elf on the TV. We can do more than put Polar Express or How the Grinch Stole Christmas on the TV. There is so much more out there than your run-of-the-mill Christmas movie. So, like the title suggests, I tried to curate some uncommon or weird Christmas movies. These can be movies where kind of like a whole different plot is happening and Christmas is just sort of in the backdrop. Or these can be movies where Christmas really isn't that much of a thing, but the spirit of the movie is very Christmas-esque. Maybe Christmas is just sort of like a reference or a symbol in the movie. But yeah, that is what the show is. And this comes from my early childhood. My mom had this book, and I think it was called Evil Santa or Bad Santa or something. And it was almost like a horror book for kids where Santa's evil twin, who is locked up in jail, prison, as in jail, he gets out somehow and terrorizes the children of the world by giving them scary, crazy, kooky gifts. And I'm not talking a Jack in the Box that's freaky or whatever. I'm talking a severed arm or box full of spiders or some Twin Peaks Blue Velvet sort of stuff. That's right. I'm back to talking about Twin Peaks every episode. It never went away. So yeah, that story really sparked not only my love of sort of strange, obscure Christmas stories, but also just like the horror genre. I really like kind of like that offbeat sort of storytelling. I think it's really cool. And not only do I feel this way about Christmas movies, but I also feel this way about Christmas music. Mariah Carey, I love you, but I think it's time for us to do more than All I Want for Christmas Is You. I think it's time to do more than Jingle Bell Rock and all of that sort of thing. So, what I do for Uncommon Christmas is I also make a companion playlist. And this playlist is comprised of Christmas songs that are very off the beaten path, very strange, original Christmas songs, or a lot of them are covers that are so reimagined that they're almost irrecognizable. So, I'm happy to say that the second volume of the Uncommon Christmas playlist is out now. And I have a link in the show notes to both Apple Music and Spotify. So be sure to check that out. I really had such a fun time making this. It was a challenge at first because I loved the first volume so much. And I didn't really know how I was going to top it. But I went for a completely different vibe with this one. This is more of like a hard rock country 80s sort of vibe. I don't know. I just had fun. I had fun. And is Black Velvet on there? Yeah. Is that a Christmas song? I don't know. But I was just putting this playlist together and I was just like, it needs Black Velvet. It needs Babushka by Kate Bush, which I think is sort of a Christmas song. She had that Christmas performance with Babushka. So I think it's somehow related. Black Velvet, I can't really defend that one, but it's just fun. It's something fun for the kids. Listen, have a good time. So that's out now, and it would mean a lot to me if you checked it out, maybe listened cover to cover, because I did organize it so that it kind of the vibes follow through and everything. So yeah, what's next? What do I talk about next? It's been a while. Let's catch up. Let's catch up. We are gonna, this is a coffee chat. We're catching up over coffee here. So I am gonna do a quick little review here. I want to talk about the black sesame latte from Tate. Tate is a coffee shop and bakery that is scattered all around Nova, or the DMV area. And I don't really know how to explain it. They didn't have much to go off of on their website, but it's a big chain. It's really popular. They have really, really extravagant pastries that are really good. And their coffees are really good too. It's usually really busy when you go, especially I went to this one by the White House and it was just like insanely busy. But I've been a few times in the past few weeks and I've had their black sesame latte. And I've gotten it both hot and iced. It is so good. It's really good. It's made with black sesame, tahini, sugar, and a pinch of salt. So it's just like I wouldn't really call it like a holiday drink, but it's a really good like fall and winter drink. And something about it, I think the black sesame, however they flavor that, I think it's blended into the drink somehow because this latte is very thick and frothy. This sounds maybe off-putting, but I promise it's not. But it's kind of like a protein shake consistency. It's like a thick drink almost. It's really good. It's really good, but the consistency is a bit different. It's really delicious too. Yeah, I was getting it iced for a period of time, but then I was ordering and I forgot to say I wanted it iced. And they brought it to me hot, and I was a little disappointed at first, but that was a happy accident because it is just as good hot as it is cold, if not better. So if you're looking for like a really nice, cozy drink that has like a unique flavor, it's not just your average flavor like caramel, vanilla, whatever. I highly suggest going to Tate and getting this black sesame latte. I'm definitely going to give it the Nick pick. So now that we have our coffee and everything, let's get into it. Let's just catch up. This is just a kind of like a recap review of the past 4 months sort of episode. And I, of course, also want to introduce the Uncommon Christmas series, Volume 2. Really excited about that. And I'm also on a deadline. I'm seeing Avatar Fire and Ash in like 30 minutes. So we're going to wrap this up quick. All right. What's been going on? What has been going on? So, like I said, over the summer, I had a bit of a mentee bee and I took a necessary break from the show. I wouldn't say it was not related to the show at all, but I realized I needed to have more time to exist as a person. So, I would say I did just that. I think giving up the show temporarily, it freed just enough time in my schedule to take the necessary steps to get better and to be well. I've really been enjoying my time away from the show, if I'm being completely honest. But that doesn't mean I've like been turned off from it or anything. Of course, here I am sitting here. I came back because I would like to do this. It was the right decision, which I was worried about at first. I was like, oh, I'm making a completely wrong decision. But no, it worked out. And I'm really glad I took a step away. To work on myself and to just watch movies and play games. I feel like I was just getting behind on things I would like to do. And I also came back because I feel like there is just so much happening in the world that I would like to address that is show adjacent, such as the what feels like the disintegration of not only America but reality as a whole. Um, what the fuck is happening? What Twilight Zone, what alternate universe wormhole did we step into where we are at the place we are at now? Things feel a bit bad. And maybe this is the same for you as it is for me, but I maybe this show is a bit of like an escape. Maybe it's a bit of an outlet. I can like just sit in my room in my corner and talk to the wall and escape from whatever awful shit is happening in the world. And hopefully, this can also be that space for you as well. What else have I been doing? I've been watching a lot more movies. I went to the Middleburg Film Festival again and I saw Begonia and Hamnet in early screenings. Begonia is my favorite film of the year so far. Been watching a lot of other ones, kind of catching up on older ones too, which has been great. Listening to a lot of music, spending time with friends, again, just being human. But what I've mainly been doing is gaming. I have been such a gamer boy these past few months, like to a ridiculous degree, to a degree which I am embarrassed about, honestly. Just because I don't know. There's a stigma around gaming not being a productive hobby, and I don't think that's true. I think it is a productive hobby. It's an art form. You're consuming art. But I don't know. Donkey Kong Bonanza, I just sank into that game. And I also played Luigi's Mansion. I played the new Hyrule Warriors, which I do not recommend. I thought it was boo boo. I thought it was bad. But the main game I have been playing is Hades 2. Where do I begin? I'm on 50 hours, I think. I've beat the game like multiple times. I'm trying to get to like the final ending, the real ending of the game. I am just really in deep with Hades 2. I loved the first one, but I think I had like 25 hours total on the first one. This one, I mean, I'm just so in deep to it. I need to get to the real endings, and then I'll be done, and I can move on to the next thing. I'm really, really itching to play the new Resident Evil game. I'm really, really itching to play Metroid Prime 4. So I don't think the gaming is going to stop anytime soon. But it's been really nice because gaming is very important to me. So it's been nice to kind of like get back into it and play these games that I've been really looking forward to. But enough about me. What can you expect from the show moving forward? Honestly, nothing. Don't expect anything from me moving forward. I'm being genuine. I do not want you to expect anything from the show because I am not setting any expectations for this show moving forward. And I think that's a good thing. Like I said, I'm reserving the room to be a human. I'm reserving the room to play Donkey Kong Bonanza and Hades 2 for hours on end. I want to do this show when the need arises, when I have an itch I need to scratch. And by itch, I mean like I have a little thing I want to talk about, or I have a desire to like, do Lynchian picks or do Uncommon Christmas like I am now. But there will be new episodes, of course, especially for Uncommon Christmas. And I even anticipate getting back into the swing of things next year, just making like regular new episodes. But I just want to set less pressure on myself when it comes to the show. And I want the show to be absolutely bare bones, casual, and like no structure. Really, this was the vision for the show from the very beginning. I want this show to feel like you are meeting a friend for coffee. And that includes getting sidetracked, getting deep, but not feeling embarrassed about getting deep, and staying until closing time, just staying to chat and chat and chat. So this will be a very rambly podcast from now on. It will not have your typical sections like I had before. It's going to be super casual, super coffee house. You know the vibe. Um, there also won't be any set schedules, so I'm just gonna come out with an episode when I do. When I do, I really don't give a fuck anymore. This is me not giving a fuck. My only promise is that I do want to finish Lynchian Picks, so I will be doing that at some point. Doing that series, so good. I loved it. But I also realized I was like, I can't take this. It was just a lot. It was a lot emotionally, but also like his movies, of course, as you all know, are just so heavy. And it's a lot of research that goes into it and everything. And I have a full-time job. I have a full-time job. I was just spreading myself a little too thin. Now to really get to what I wanted to talk about, some things have happened in the world recently that strike a very close chord to this show, and I need to talk about them. I need to talk about them now. First and foremost, I would like to I don't think I've talked about this on the show before, but I would like to come out and say that Quentin Tarantino is a fucking loser. Yeah, I would like to say that Quentin Tarantino is a fucking loser. And I'm not saying that to discredit the massive success he's had and the brilliant works of art he's created, because I, I mean, subjectively love his movies. And I think they are objectively spectacular movies, like masterpieces. Like he is truly like a master of the craft, and like I will never get to that point. So it sounds crazy to call him a loser, but I do think that is true. I think it is an accurate statement to call Quentin Tarantino a loser. Where is this all coming from? Recently, Quentin, he went on someone named Bret Easton Ellis's Patreon exclusive podcast. I do not know who Bret Easton Ellis is, but Quentin Tarantino went on his show and started talking shit about Paul Dano. Now, that's something you're not going to do. That is something you are not going to do, is talk shit about Paul Dano. That's not going to happen. But basically how this did happen is they were discussing a list of the top 10 movies of the 21st century. And the top spot went to Ridley Scott's Black Hawk Down. And then Quentin Tarantino said that There Will Be Blood could easily have taken first place if it wasn't for, quote, a big giant flaw in it. And that flaw is Paul Dano, end quote. He also said, quote, he is weak sauce, man. He's a weak sister. I'm not saying he's giving a terrible performance. I'm saying he's giving a non-entity performance, end quote. I just think that is such like a loser thing to say. I think that is so unnecessary and untrue. I think that Paul Dano is a brilliant actor. I've never seen There Will Be Blood. But you know what I have seen? The Batman. I've seen The Batman. I'm sure I've seen another thing with Paul Dano in it. Let me look. I've seen Swiss Army Man. Yup. I've seen The Fablemans. Yup. And I will be seeing The Batman Part 2, which I don't know why it says he's in that. I guess they'll show him like in the jail. And I can say in all of those experiences, I can say that Paul Dano is in fact a good actor. Oh, he was in Warcraft. Warcraft is a bad movie, but maybe he was good in it. Oh, he was also in The Power of the Dog, which is a movie that I famously love. I don't know. I don't think he's ever missed. I think that Quentin Tarantino is a loser, and Paul Dano just strikes me as one of those people in the industry that you just don't come after because he's so unproblematic as far as I know. My other point with this is that I think this is all really funny coming from someone who is having so much trouble and basically writer's block making his final film. Some of you may not know this, but Tarantino is trying to strive or fulfill this idea of a perfect 10 film run where he writes and directs 10 perfect films and then retires from film altogether. I think that this is a preposterous idea. I think that this is just stupid. And this is going off the assumption that all 10 of his films are perfect. And I'm someone who believes that no film is perfect. Even my favorite films, I would not say they're perfect. So I think it shows his pride and arrogance that he, I don't know, is really egotistical, I think. I don't like him, if you can't tell. He told Playboy in 2012, directors don't get better as they get older. Usually the worst films in their filmography are those last four at the end. I don't want that bad, out-of-touch comedy in my filmography, end quote. I think this is not true. I think there are many instances where directors get better as they get older with more experience. And I think it really, I don't know, is very disrespectful and it counts out people making art, later in their life. David Lynch was making art till the day he died. He always had that itch to make art. And I don't know, I never mind. I won't get into all that. I did, while doing research for this, I also ran into this quote I liked. This is from The Independent, written by Louis Chilton. Quote, Tarantino himself is living proof that filmmakers do not simply slide into creative oblivion as soon as the crow's feet set in. 2019's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was arguably the best and most accomplished film he's ever made. Ironically, it would have made the perfect tonal capper for his career. Whatever he makes next will inevitably have the whiff of afterthought. To be clear, no one should ever be under the obligation to make art they don't want to make. If he wants to quit, he can quit. But make no mistake, Tarantino's legacy will be the lesser for it. And while his violent, provocative sensibility has won him no shortage of detractors over the years, it's hard to dispute that cinema will be worse off when it finally drops out of the Quentin Tarantino business. End quote. I won't belabor this point any further. I second everything that this author said, and I'm on Team Dano. I love you, Paul Dano. You can do no wrong. The second overall topic I would like to discuss this evening, tonight, this morning, whenever you're listening, is that Netflix buying Warner Brothers is disheartening and disastrous. For those of you who do not know, Netflix has agreed to buy the film and streaming business of Warner Brothers Discovery for $72 billion, which is unprecedented, huge acquisition, which it's just kind of like crazy to think about, I think, because Warner Brothers is such like a legacy studio in Hollywood, and Netflix, although yes, it's a giant, it's, relatively young compared to other studios. So it's just crazy to me, like the food chain between all of this. So I think this is really bad for the film industry for a variety of reasons. Some of these may be obvious to you, but I'm just going to kind of like go down my list of like what really concerns me about this. And the first thing is AI. I honestly do not know what Warner Brothers' position was on AI. I know that DC Comics, they have stated that they are opposed to using AI in any of their work, but I don't know, how that translates to Warner Brothers. And obviously DC is still somewhat independent from Warner Brothers, at least with the comics publishing, I think. But Netflix has stated that they are all in on AI and they are in support of people using it to create their own content, and they're in support of filmmakers using it. That first point, they are in support of people using it to create their own content. So Netflix wants people to pay for their service where they can generate their own content / slop. This has not happened yet. but it just shows you where their priorities are and kind of the direction they're heading in. And I think it's really discouraging, especially because there are so many things I love about Warner Brothers right now. I know I've talked about them on this show in the past. I've had a few words to say about them, especially with Coyote versus Acme and the Batgirl movie and everything, and how they were deprioritizing animation and animated projects. But I've been really enjoying some of their projects recently. Like Fiona and Cake has been really great, and that's technically under the Warner Brothers umbrella. It's on HBO Max. There's been some really other great things, and I just don't want Netflix to get their hands on it. I don't want them to do that. And I don't want them to do it, and I don't trust them. I don't trust them to stay out of it and to let these artists do their work. I somewhat trusted Warner Brothers to do that. This leads into my next point, too. It's been reported that Netflix executives are urging screenwriters to have characters in their shows and movies announce the actions that they're going to do out loud. And this is to cater to audience members who are distracted by their phones or doing chores and they just have the show on in the background. So Netflix is reportedly, they are completely disregarding the audience members that are actually attentively watching the movie and show. And they're changing shows to cater to the viewers who are not really watching or don't really care. I think that is horrible, obviously. That is breaking the golden rule of storytelling, which is show, don't tell. It's just really bad. It's really bad. And why are we catering to people who are not really watching the show instead of the people who are actually sitting down to pay attention to it and to appreciate the nuance of the show? I don't know. It's crazy to me, and I really hate to think of like my favorite shows like Fiona and Cake or Hacks being affected by these pressures. Obviously, I also don't trust Netflix to support or foster a theater going experience. And recently Netflix has put a few of their movies out in theaters for limited runs, which I think is really great. But they are a streaming service. Their business is streaming. So they've said that the theater going experience is not going away. I think I saw that somewhere. Again, this goes back to I don't trust them. I do not trust Netflix. I don't. I don't trust a lot of streaming services, but that's besides the point. I do not think this acquisition is good. I'm very concerned about it. And yeah, I hope I wake up one morning and the headlines say that the acquisition fell through somehow. Don't know how that'll happen. Who knows? You never know with anything, I guess. My next main topic I would like to talk about is that Fortnite is starting to make me feel queasy. I, you know, if everyone's in Fortnite, then no one is really in Fortnite. It is just so weird to me, the point that Fortnite is at. It's like dystopian almost. Like Fortnite is starting to feel like an episode of Black Mirror. And this is not at all critiquing or going in on anyone who plays Fortnite or enjoys Fortnite. Good for you. I play it myself sometimes. It's a really great way to catch up with friends. But I don't know. It feels just the Fortnite business feels like an episode of Black Mirror. The fact that you can watch SpongeBob like firing an assault rifle at Lady Gaga, Kim Kardashian like throws a grenade at, I don't know, Scooby Doo or something. What are we doing? What are we doing? It just, if everyone is in Fortnite, then no one is. It is at the point, it has been for a long time, where I just do not care. And I also think that Fortnite, the marketing perspective in me, I just think that Fortnite is stopping creative marketing from happening in some capacity. I think that a lot of movies are simply throwing their characters onto Fortnite to quote unquote promote it. And I don't think that's effective, really. Like I said, everyone's in Fortnite, so like who cares anymore? It's kind of like Funko Pops. That's how I think of Fortnite right now. I think of Funko Pops, where they just started making Funko Pops for every single little obscure character, and it got to the point where people just stopped caring about Funko Pops. I think there were other business things there, but you know what I mean? They're just like crowding the store shelves and everything, and there's just like a wall of Funko Pops that they can't sell. Obviously, I think the convenient thing about Fortnite is that it's a digital shop, so they doesn't matter if they have like 10 billion skins no one wants to buy. You just buy these selection of 8 skins today. Have I bought skins before? Yes, I have. I have. I actually, when I told myself I would only spend money on skins when I won my first battle royale. And I did that. So I bought an alien pack. It has a xenomorph and then 2 Ripley skins, Sigourney Weaver. And then it has like a back bling that's like Jonesy poking out of his little box. It's really cute. So yes, I have done it. I've been there. I also have Funko Pop sitting in my room, as some of you may know. I don't know. Does anyone else feel this way about Fortnite? It can't just be me. It can't be me. And also, is nothing sacred? Is nothing sacred? I don't know. Like maybe I don't want to watch a cherished childhood character getting shot down, getting a grenade thrown, being blown to bits. I don't know. Is nothing sacred? Like don't don't do it. Don't do it. If you are on the marketing team, don't. Hear me out. Hear me out. That's what I have to say. My last and final point is that I am so happy for the Muppets right now. I'm so happy for them. We are the crops are starting to sprout up. The soil is starting to dampen. There's rain on the horizon. The drought is ending. The Muppets drought is soon over. It was over a year ago. Maybe, was it? We're coming up on 2 years. Oh my gosh. Wow. We're coming up on 2 years ago that I discussed the Muppets drought on this podcast. And I was begging to the Disney gods to give us a scrap of Muppets. And since the show's been on hiatus, the Muppets show revival has been announced with special guest Sabrina Carpenter, and Miss Piggy was a guest star at one of Sabrina Carpenter's concerts, and the Muppets co-hosted or did whatever at the Game Awards. So things are lining up really, really well here for a Muppets Renaissance to begin. I am so happy, and I just hope that I'm recognized in the credits of the Muppet Show for ending the drought. That is my one wish. You're welcome, everybody. You're welcome. Disney, please put writers, excuse me, I'm getting hoarse here. Put writers in that room that know the Muppets. I have a concern that you will put people in there that do not know how to write the Muppets. Do it right, please. I don't want this to be like a Fortnite thing where like you just cross over them with every IP you have, like put the Muppets and Simpsons and the Muppets, and then the X-Men come, and then the Iron Man flies in, but then the alien xenomorph comes in with the Muppets. Keep the IPs out of it, please. Just make it a variety talk show with celebrities who, I don't know, are too inappropriate to probably be interacting with the Muppets, but they are there. Sabrina Carpenter is perfect. We're on the right track. We are on the right track. Everybody, that is everything I had to discuss today. I am so happy to be back on this show, to be making it for who knows how much longer. I have about 3 episodes planned for Uncommon Christmas. I will tell you the first one out of these 3. We're going to do it bit by bit, I think. The first episode of this year's Uncommon Christmas will be discussing Black Christmas 2006, directed by Glenn Morgan. That's right. We are starting Uncommon Christmas once again with Black Christmas, but this time the 2006 one. And I just watched it in theaters last night, and I had a great time. I had a really good time. but we'll discuss that more on the next episode. I'm very excited for the holiday season. I'm very excited for Christmas and New Year's and these new episodes, and I hope you are too. And I hope you have a lovely holiday, depending on when you're listening to this. Please travel safe. Please tell your friends about the show and follow me on Instagram at CoffeeNixMoviePicks. Just tell everyone I'm back. Tell them I'm here. Yeah. What next?